Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 1. Right now we're going to have a best of 2 series between xGame KZ and Sqreen Squad Russian Edition. So, as for both of these teams, I've seen them play a handful of times and it should be a fairly close match, or at least I'd hope. The early bans are kind of interesting to look at as xGame go ahead and first ban out the Tusk, and against any other team that might seem pretty odd, although Sqreen Squad have been known to play that to pretty big success, so I guess it makes sense, although it is going to leave quite a few of those top tier picks in the pool. Since they do have second pick, however, they're going to have quite a lot available at their fingertips. And while Sqreen Squad, they ban out the Lycanthrope as well as the Doom, no big surprises there, but xGame KZ looks like they're going to get their hands on the Scarlet Mage faces Void combo that everybody's so, I don't know, enthralled by. It's a really solid combination. With the Mystic Flare into the Chronosphere, very few targets can actually stand up to that, and they already have one tool that works well up against the Brewmaster, and instead of going for the Void, they'll end up going for the Earthshaker. There's very little of risk that Sqreen Squad are going to pick the Void because they already have the Brewmaster, and those heroes don't combo incredibly well together. And honestly, I wouldn't like to pick that much because that would allow xGame KZ to ban out several of the heroes that combo well with the Faceless Void, and then they might not have the damage inside Chrono. The Scarlet Mage Earthshaker supporting duo is one of the best in this current patch, especially for early roaming. They can play defensively as well as aggressively. They work really well in lane together. You can zone out the offlaner with your Scarlet Mage, pull and stack with your Earthshaker. And yeah, with the concussive shot as well as fissures set up, you can get quite a few kills around the map if you get a good fissure block, which is, I don't know, really strong coming out from those two. Sqreen Squad still have a lot of picks to think about for this next year. Shadow Shun probably the last top tier, quote-unquote, support that's still left in the pool, which they definitely could go for. Earthshaker and Scarlet Mage are pretty susceptible to being caught out alone, so maybe they go for something that's going to bridge the gap, a solid initiator for them on top of the Brewmaster. They might pick up the Centaur Warner here, but I'm not sure if they'll go for that. They already have one Blink initiator, but more is not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, but let me just make sure that everything is working properly on stream. Currently we have 3 streams running, with HeflaTV 2 handling a pretty exciting game. I can't remember who's actually playing. I think Titan versus... Ooh, I can't remember. But either way, we're just waiting on Sqreen Squad to pick up their second pick, and it's actually going to be a Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's a pretty interesting hero right here. It's going to give them a pretty good defensive combo up against the Scarlet Mage Mystic Flare, and probably going to force out the Mirana ban. Coming out from xGame, is playing up against the Shadow Demon Mirana is always a little bit tricky, as if they're on point with their timing, which honestly they should be. Shadow Demon Mirana, one of the combos a lot of people are very comfortable playing. It can be very scary. Also good setup for the Brewmaster, and we might even see a support Brewmaster this game. I've seen it from several European teams, although with varied success. If it gets off to a good start, the level 6 Brewmaster is just as good as if you had it on the mid, or in a support position, although it might not have the Blink Dagger at the same interval. Viper and Death Prophet, the next 2 bans out coming up from the teams. They are pretty solid mid heroes that offer a little bit of different things to their teams. Death Prophet more, and then that pushing style, being able to transition to tower. She needs her level 11 a lot more than Viper does, but Viper is going to pretty much dominate his lane no matter who you throw up against him. There's very few heroes that trade evenly, but that's about all that you can hope to do up against a Viper. And well, we'll have to see what xGame KZ are going to ban out here. I'd expect either a Mirana or an Invoker ban from them. Tinkers the bans from Sqreen Squad. Really annoying here that they don't want to have to fight up against. Could be pretty solid, but no, it's going to be a Wraith King ban. In xGame KZ, they get their hands on the Faceless Void that I was talking about earlier. It's kind of interesting to see him in the second pick stage, but he's definitely worth the pickup. Although he doesn't combo very well with the Earthshaker, Scarlet Mage has a lot of damage to dish out into the Chronosphere, and you definitely can follow up the Chronosphere with a nice Fissure or an Echo Slam if the Earthshaker has a Blink Dagger. So they don't have the best synergy, although it's not completely awful. Yeah, Faceless Void, a hero that's really good about catching out those, the enemy team, and if you're able to get a solid initiation off, there's very little that you're going to be able to do, because Scarlet Mage can pretty much solo up one of the heroes inside the Chronosphere. You'll have Faceless Void taking out another, and then you're starting out a full 5-on-5 engagement, 3 versus 5, which really doesn't pan out. And Faceless Void, he'll have the option to get those solo pickoffs with the Chronosphere early, which is also going to be pretty solid. Sqreen Squad have been taking their time with these draft picks. I'm pretty sure they have something in mind with this Shadow Demon. It probably needs to set up for something. Whether that's an Invoker or Mana, it's still left to be seen. There's some other heroes that I really like seeing with Shadow Demon, and they might consider picking them up, like the Kunkka. Which actually I would think would be a really solid pickup for them, although maybe not right now. Instead, they go for the Jakiro. A very interesting pick. Sqreen Squad looking to get very aggressive early if they are going to play the pretty standard Liquid Fire Max Jakiro. Puts a lot of damage on those tier 1 towers as well as decent wave clear. It's pretty good up against Faceless Void if he's inside the Chronosphere. He can drop a Macro Pyre, but he can sometimes find angles to avoid that. Combos decently well with the Shadow Demon, setting up for the Ice Path. Usually Ice Path not a very reliable disable, but I assume that Jakiro is going to secondarily max the Ice Path if it's played as a support. If it's a core, however, and we see that towards the mid position, Jakiro is probably going to be going for the Liquid Fire and Dual Breath to maximize its damage output.
Reserve time.
Yeah, currently not a whole lot of solid lockdown coming out from Sqreen Squad. They only have the Ice Path, really, and that's not the most reliable. They have the Brewmaster Ultimate, which is going to be really nice for splitting up the engagements. I don't know, but they don't have the best control. Earthshaker, Skywrath Mage, and Faceless Void all have something to offer in that regard, whether it's the Silence from the Skywrath Mage, the Stuns from the Earthshaker, or the Chronosphere of the Void. xGame KZ have a lot of different ways that they could go about this draft, and honestly an Invoker pick for them could be really solid here. Setting up for Sunstrikes as well as the Deafening Blast Meteor combo would be really nice and give them a lot of damage, especially when it's amplified by the Ancient Seal. That 45% extra magic damage is really going to tear through any of the heroes on Sqreen Squad. If you silence up a Brewmaster, and then drop that Meteor Deafening Blast combo onto him inside the Chronosphere, he's not getting his ultimate off. And it will be that Invoker coming out from xGame KZ. No big surprises there. It's a really solid pick. I quite like it here. We'll also offer them a little bit of pushing power, which they were lacking before. They didn't have much to push into towers, with the exception of just the right clicks coming out from all of the previous heroes, which really isn't that much. They don't have the greatest wave clear either. So Invoker's really going to help them out with that. Forge Spirits as well as Necronomicon really solid, and as aforementioned, will bolster their teamfight power by quite a bit. Faceless Void is going to have to get those Chronospheres on the money, however, if they want to win the teamfights, but I don't think that's the hardest spell to land, and I'm pretty sure that xGame KZ are going to be in a pretty good situation as far as teamfights are concerned. But if they do get jumped on by the Brewmaster and they're able to lock down somebody with the Shadow Demon and Mirana Arrow combo, that could be problematic, although I'm inclined to like xGame KZ's lineup by quite a bit. Their lanes are going to be pretty solid. Faceless Void, even if they go aggressive up against him, Skywrath Mage Earthshaker plus Faceless Void is not a slouch of a tri-lane by any means, and the pressure would be on Sqreen Squad to put the screws to that tri-lane. We might even see a farming Jakiro in that tri-lane, with the Shadow Demon Mirana roaming around. The Shadow Demon Mirana combo is really solid in and of itself. You can set up those 5-second arrows very easily, or just shorter than that, but a really solid disable. But a lot is going to rely on them being able to line up those arrows. If this Mirana is not on point, I fear for Sqreen Squad as they'll have quite a bit of difficulty dealing with xGame KZ. Brewmaster should win his lane, and as should the tri-lane coming out from Sqreen Squad, to be honest.
5 seconds.
But xGame aren't going to lose their lanes that poorly, even if they do lose their lanes. Invoker is going to be annoyed early on by Brewmaster's Drunken Haze, but that's going to be about it. Once Invoker gets some more points up into Exhort, as well as the Forge Spirits up and running, he trades pretty well with Brewmaster, and I don't think we'll see any solo killing potential until level 6 comes out for the Brew. Last bans are Nature's Prophet coming out from xGame KZ, as well as the Weaver ban from Sqreen Squad. Weaver ban, definitely pretty solid. They don't have very good tools to lock down a Weaver. The only tool right now that they have would be the Disruption into Arrow, and that's just not reliable when you're looking at a Shikuchiing time-lapsing Weaver. I definitely think it could have worked out for xGame, although not the most conventional pick. It would have been a solid hero.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, xGame KZ, they could go in a lot of different directions. The Faceless Void could be offlane, you could be soloing the safe. Invoker could be safe lane with the offlane Faceless Void, we could be looking for a mid hero. Honestly, they could be picking up something for any of the lanes. Although I'm assuming it's going to be core, but even then, Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker could be a core. They have any direction they want to go with this. They already have a really solid 4 picks, and I'm pretty sure they could go pretty greedy with this, or they could just pick up a really aggressive hero and try to put the screws to Sqreen Squad early on. Yeah. Not the foggiest idea what they're going to pick up, but we'll see sooner rather than later, as only about 10 seconds left after that reserve time coming out from xGame KZ.
10 seconds to go.
And we'll just have to see.
5 seconds.
It's pretty easy to look at heroes that they probably won't pick, but even then. Well, they're going to go with the conventional pick. Tidehunter kind of slipped my mind. I thought he was banned out, but, I mean, as you look at it, none of the offlaners are really touched with the exception of the Doombringer, as well as Nature's Prophet, so Tidehunter is a really solid pick, going to give them even more teamfight presence with that Ravage. And with Ravage and Chronosphere, you should win your teamfights. There's very little that Screen Squad are going to be able to do in a large-scale engagement. They're going to be more focusing on the pickoffs come the mid-game, and they're going to have to really snowball out of control because of that. They're going to need to get those early tier 1 towers coming out from the Jakiro's Liquid Fire, and then they're going to need to get the pickoffs. But whoa, daddy, we have a Screen Squad sniper coming out. And not a pick I was anticipating at all, but I don't even know. It's very hard to analyze this sniper pick. It's going to be nice up against the Faceless Void Invoker, I suppose, as long as he's able to avoid getting Chronosphered, but they have a lot of ways of really punishing the sniper. Long-range initiation coming out from Skywrath Mage, long-range initiation coming out from the Earthshaker, time walking to Chronosphere from Faceless Void and the Ravage. From the Tidehunter, I don't think the sniper is going to have a good time at all. It's just going to be very hard for him to find his footing. That said, I'd love to see a sniper work out, but I'm just not feeling it. Maybe it'll help them push down those towers early if we do see the Shrapnel Max sniper first. In combination with the Jakiro, it definitely could work out. But that's enough as we start out with the conventional pause to give us time to introduce our players. We are going to have on the Radiant side, Screen Squad with Sqreen himself, playing on the Mirana Slander, going to be his best buddy on the Shadow Demon, ZXC, on the Sniper Nubik, playing on the Jakiro, and Afterlife, taking up the Brewmaster. On the side of the Dire, we are going to have xGame KZ with Mantis, playing on the Faceless Void, Wadafaka on the Invoker, Caught playing on the Earthshaker. I believe that is a proper stand, and I haven't seen him play with this squad before. But who knows? Stallcat's going to be playing on the Tidehunter, and Reeves on the Skywrath Mage. As the G's come out, we're going to see how these lanes are actually going to work. I'm just expecting pretty standard stuff coming out from xGame. We're going to have a safe lane Faceless Void, backing up with support, although he should be able to be left alone, depending on what the offlaner for Screen Squad is going to be. And it looks like it's going to be a solo offlane Brew. As long as they start out this Faceless Void on the right foot, they'll definitely have the potential to roam around, because although Brewmaster is favored in that 1v1 matchup, I don't think we'll see any kills, and although we'll put a little pressure with the Drunken Haze, not that much. Slender is currently starting out in the top lane, and we might be seeing an aggressive tri-lane, actually, with the support Mirana as well as support Shadow Demon, and Brewmaster is the core in that? I don't know, they might just be looking for an early kill. Both teams are kind of clumped up, and they haven't actually given away their kills, or their lanes, excuse me, 100%, as Wadafaka is probably going mid with his starting items, and it looks like, yeah, just standard stuff as Titan just waddling his way towards bot. Let's see if Shadow Demon and Mirana are going to be able to do very much with this first rotation. Brewmaster is, I don't know, a pretty solid hero in a tri-lane, but he's very level dependent, and they're going to need to leave him alone probably pretty soon if they're not able to get kills, and I think that's really what Screen Squad are looking to do. No smoke on either of these supports just yet, but boots first on the Shadow Demon will make getting in range for that disruption a lot easier, and the potential for kills is definitely going to be there if they line up those arrows. Time Walk potentially could come out from the Faceless Void and might keep him safe as the early rune. It's going to be a double damage, and the arrow is going to fly up, and it's going to fall up on a Reeves. I think Reeves just gave up for first blood with the double damage Shadow Demon. Very easy follow-up for Screen Squad, and well, the hiding around over by that 0-minute rune is going to really pay off for Sqreen and Slander as they notch themselves a kill and a really good early start. Sniper versus Invoker, a pretty pubby matchup, with the block being fairly even, although slightly in favor of Wadafaka. Sniper should not have any trouble last hitting here as he started out with the Wraith Band as well as the 2 sticks, maximizing his stats. And then, also, the annoying headshots are going to come out. I think the Skywrath Mage and the Earthshaker are definitely going to have the potential to punish this sniper, but whether they're going to have the room to do that is another story, as Shadow Demon and Mirana are going to make a nuisance for them in the top lane, and Faceless Void is completely zoned out of experience, hasn't seen a single creep's worth, and already gets the time walk. He has a lot of regen, but still, if he's caught out with 5-second arrow, he's not going anywhere. They'll start things off with a pull, and try to give a little of gold to the Faceless Void, although one of those creeps was snagged by the Jakiro. Yeah, Tidehunter solo up against the Jakiro. I would say Jakiro is favored in this lane, although I can't put that much pressure on the Tidehunter. And yeah, nobody should die, I don't think. Unless somebody completely oversteps their bounce and level 6 comes out for the Tidehunter. It's really the timing we'll need to see before that lane actually happens. Whether the Jagiro is going to be able to push this lane enough or not in order to put enough damage on the tower is going to be the bigger story, and for now they're going to rotate down the Skywrath Mage towards the bottom rune spot. It's not close to 2 minutes, and I'm not sure exactly what Reeves is doing, to be honest. Already given up the first blood. He just feels he can't do anything, as the arrow follow-up is going to come out in Mantis, and I think Mantis is just dead with the follow-up Fissure. It will delay things, so he'll be able to time walk. Will it be enough? They need one more Slander. Picks that one up, trying to tango, not going to happen. Faceless Void might have been able to survive if he got the salve off, but I think they could have dove that very easily. With Leap still available on the Mirana and this supporting duo paying out very well for Sqreen squad, and this early rotation coming out from Slander as well as Sqreen is doing wonders, and the Earthshaker and Skywrath Mage haven't been able to accomplish anything. Down in bottom, they might be able to get the Jagiro with the Faceless Void coming off of that death. They get the bash on Anubik. Oh, that's so unfortunate. One more Arcane Bolt and an auto attack would have been enough, and I think Reeves would have gotten that kill anyway, but good rotation coming out from the Faceless Void, and you just don't expect a level 2 Faceless Void to be ganking. Yeah, so I don't really blame the Jagiro for dying there, although a very awkward rotation. It pays off. Rana as well as Shadow Demon looking towards mid, and, well, so is the Earthshaker, but more than anything, just going to be some defensive backup, because what the fuck is the only lane that hasn't actually lost yet? I don't know, Tidehunter versus Jagiro. Jagiro is now not looking too great after this kill, and they've completely rotated Mantis towards bottom. He might be in a lot of trouble as the Concussive Shot comes out. They have Body Box coming out from the Tidehunter. He also has a Gush. They'll throw that the way of Nubik. He doesn't get off a bash, but he will time walk the other side of the Ice Path. There's a Sunstrike coming through. Not going to be needed as the Faceless Void picks himself up a kill, so now xGame going to be the ones to fight back as they get 2 kills back-to-back on this Jagiro, and Jagiro's going to be delayed by quite a bit in his effectiveness this game. He's level 3, but that's not really that great. Tidehunter is also sitting there, and Jagiro hasn't been able to put Liquid Fire in this tower. I think it's the biggest issue. He hasn't even been able to throw one, which is really what you want to do, especially as a solo lane Jagiro, and now you won't be able to put that pressure on the tower because Tidehunter is getting such an advantage. Although, Stallcat is going back towards his jungle, potentially going to stack some camps up for himself before going back to base. Doesn't have a lot of Anchor Smash in order to clear these, but I don't know, very interesting rotation from the Tidehunter. They're just going to pretty much play him as a support since they can't get anything more out of bottom from him, since they're going to give Faceless Void that lane. Mirana as well as Shadow Demon have made this a proper tri-lane. The arrow's actually going to land on a Mantis, but not enough damage to follow that one up. Good arrow coming out from Sqreen, and we'll do some harass, but he doesn't have enough mana for another arrow. One Clarity will rectify that fact, however. Sniper in mid, trading fairly evenly up against the Invoker. The real winner as far as CS is concerned, to start us off, is Afterlife up in top. He's pretty much at the time of his life with the supports getting the kills and just giving him all the room in the world. He'll have a very fast blink dagger. 24 and 7 at the top of the board, as well as 1 assist under his belt. But this might change after the smoke comes out from the Tidehunter and company. As they'll start with the Arcane Bolt Concussive Shot. They will be able to slow him down. Do they have the damage? They're looking for a Fissure block. It will come out and beautifully blocks in Afterlife. I think he's just going to die. No way to get out of that. He's trying to tango through the trees, but not going anywhere. As Afterlife, he's stuck in a corner with the Sunstrike. He might be able to get... Oh, no. Stallcat's going to be just fine as Tidehunter picks up the kill onto the Brewmaster. So after that really early start, he is going to be punished a little bit. Next game, they're looking strong as far as their lanes are concerned. All said and done, after a really sketchy start. Maybe if they just started out this Faceless Void in bottom lane, it would have turned out better for them, but then again, Sqreen Squad probably would have been able to rotate their supports. I won't take a look at the graphs just yet, as that probably won't give us very much useful information, but it'll be interesting to see in about 5 minutes how this early game is actually going to work out, as the kill score is pretty even, although Sqreen Squad are coming out on top. I'd expect it to almost be a 0-dot graph, maybe a slight advantage towards Sqreen Squad with the first blood gold as well. Inside the jungle, they start with the disruption, looking for the arrow follow-up. It's not going to be the longest arrow, but it will land on Reeves, and I think that's going to be enough. There's a Fissure defensively, and there's a Sunstrike coming through as well, but the Sniper ultimate not even going to be necessary. They do get the traded kill on the Shadow Demon with the help of Wadafaka, but Wadafaka might be in a little bit of trouble here if the headshots come out. There's one, but Sqreen is the one who's dying. He'll be forced to leap down to low ground, but with Sniper ultimate coming through, Wadafaka is just going to be blasted to death by ZXE, and that's going to be a kill towards your Sniper, not what you want to have happening if you're xGame. This Sniper, last time I saw it played in the mid position, it got punished very heavily, but this Earthshaker and Skywrath Mage have been busy trying to help out other lanes, and Sniper has been left alone. Now level 7, he's going for the max headshot build. Not a huge fan of this one. It's a lot of fun to do, and it will allow him to play very aggressively in lane, and probably why he's last hitting so well. But yeah, he's outranging the towers already, and we'll be able to put some chip damage there. But I think the max shrapnel is probably your best mid build. Although, can't really argue with it, as ZXC is looking really good this game. Is up on top, we have a Brewmaster split on the Tidehunter. He doesn't have enough mana to do anything else. Now another Boulder Toss comes out to Stallcat. It looks like they're going to get this kill. It's Jagiro and Skywrath Mage They're gonna get some kills down at bottom as I'm looking for this Tide Darter. Will he actually get this one? He's still running through, and the 1 point Kraken Shell seems to be enough. He also has one more Anchor Smash, but it's going to be forced to run out of there. No Blink Dagger and Afterlife, and can't chase that, so it looks like I chose my battles poorly. As bottom lanes, actually, we're going to see the trade. Faces Void for Jakiro. Slight favor towards Sqreen Squad. Not sure who actually got the last hits there. As Mirana gets a kill onto Faces Void, and Skywrath gets a kill on Jakiro. So both supports, yeah, I think the Faces Void's a little bit more important for xGame, especially considering that he used Chronosphere in that last engage. Let me double check that nothing is going awry as I am getting messages in Skype. It is unfortunate when you're solo casting. It's kind of hard to make sure that everything's working properly, but with no dropped frames as well as no overlay screw-ups right now, looks like we're going to be all fine and dandy as this game is completely tied up in the kill score. And well, while we have some time to look at it, Sqreen Squad are in favor of the gold at about 2,000 advantage there, and same in the experience. It's not unsurmountable by any means, but still, this Brewmaster as well as Sniper are having the time of their lives in their lanes. Brewmaster backs off for the Arcane Boots first for the extra lane control. Not sure if I'm the biggest fan of this. I think the Blink Dagger would have been a bit more useful, but going to be a moot point. He'll probably have one more ultimate before he actually gets the Blink online. Earthshaker sits himself onto an illusion rune. We'll ping that out for his allies, but he's going to get disrupted up, and I think he's dead. Where's the follow-up arrow? However, Rana's way too far away, and Cat's going to be just fine. Sniper does have an ultimate to throw, but they need more damage on him before they can do that. Arrow from long range, not going to land as he turns for a Fissure. Now the Skywrath Mage is inbound. They'll silence up Slander. They don't have the damage coming out from the Invoker. He's going to miss his Sunstrike completely. Now Slander will be able to back off, although we'll be forced back to base, so not the biggest loss. A lot of spells being thrown back and forth, no kills going either way. Up in top, however, that might change as we're looking for the Chronosphere to come up for cooldown right now for the Faceless Void, as well as the Brewmaster, having the Mirana support, potentially looking for an arrow. Top might be the next place where we have a kill, but these lanes are looking to be pretty passive. Jakiro is going to max out that Liquid Fire and completely avoiding Dual Breath up until now. Without the setup, it's fine, and as well as having the disruption into the Ice Path combo is always pretty strong. Yeah, Sniper is going to be sitting pretty, as has two Wraith Bands actually, one inside the Aquila as well as one casual. A lot of good stat items coming out from ZXC, although no big items just yet. I'm not sure what build the Sniper is going to prefer. Up in bottom, we are going to have two supports posturing around, but either team is just kind of waiting for their core items to come online. What the fuck is working towards this Midas, presumably after going for the arrow going to be out wide towards the right, and yeah, no kill onto the Invoker just yet. But he will be going for the Midas after picking up the Basilius as well as an old Talisman. He'll punish them around a little bit for trying for that arrow, but yeah, that doesn't matter at the end of the day. Yeah, both teams are pretty happy about playing this passively until the Sniper gets his farm, until Faceless Void gets anything. Currently, Faceless Void is really suffering. He's been involved in 3 kills, which is fine, but he's died twice and is CSing very poorly. At only 13 CS, 14 now at almost 10 minutes, and that's not where you want your safe lane farmer to start out. But so many lane rotations as the Brewmaster is being collapsed upon. They have the Chronosphere, they're going to do it, but he gets a split off before that happens, and they can't kill him. Have to straight up back out. What reaction time coming out from Brewmaster. He might be able to make a kill. Nah, just going to be a defensive ultimate, which is unfortunate for the Brew, but it saved him from dying there. So Chronosphere for Brewmaster ultimate, pretty even trade, although Brewmaster ultimate has a slightly longer cooldown. Yeah, this Jakiro hasn't really felt very effective, although the tier 1 tower down and bottom is about to fall because of the lane pressure he's been able to put with that maxed out Liquid Fire. Now on a 4-second cooldown, no reason not to use it. And they'll probably get it this wave actually. With only 240 damage, or HP left, we might see a deny as in mid. Looks like that's where we're going to have the fight at ZXC. He's going to be slowed up with the Cold Snap as well as the Fissure Sunstrike coming through. It's going to land. No, it's not. He's silenced up and they don't have the damage. They're looking for the arrow. It's going to land on Reeves, and Reeves is the one who's going to give up a kill after they dove a little bit too hard for ZXC. Unfortunate that that Sunstrike missed. Bottom tier 1 tower in the meantime is not going to be denied as Jakiro gets the last hit there, and big wins all around the map for Sqreen Squad, and they're going to propel themselves to a pretty solid lead here now. At about 10 minutes in, now the tier 2 tower not going to be immune. Ice Path looking for top, as Stallcat's going to eat a lot of damage. Although it's not going to be enough to kill him, I don't think. He's going to have to be forced all the way back to base, and Nubik wants this so bad. He might get punished for it. His concussive shot comes out. The Faceless Void is also inbound. If they get the bash onto him, he could just be straight up dead. But the Ice Path is going to clip the Earthshaker instead. Nubik wants his kill as best as he can. The Macropyre is on the ground, but he'll be the one that gives us the kill. Way too aggressive coming out from the Jakiro. Had he had Dual Breath, maybe he could have gone for that. But without any points into Dual Breath, that's not really a possibility. Yeah, didn't like that move coming out much from the Jakiro, but it's still not the worst. As much as you want to keep that Jakiro alive, it's all about the sniper right now. He's currently sitting on 2,000 gold. I'm hoping we're not seeing a Shadowblade sniper, although the positioning tool would be really nice. I would prefer Blink, honestly, over Shadowblade. I think it's just all around a lot better without the mana cost as well as the instant positioning. Will be useful. Potentially Mask of Madness could also be pretty solid, as they're looking for a wraparound up on top as Slander and Sqreen are going to use smoke pretty late into here. The Tidehunter does have his Ravage, so TP support could be in trouble, but they do get the Blink forward Thunderclap onto Stallcat. Follow up Ice Path, he's not able to get much off. He gets the Gush out and not going to drop the Ravage as TP support is coming from the Earthshaker. A little bit delayed there, but not going to do much. We are going to have pings as the arrow goes onto Reeves, and Reeves is so screwed. He's alone. They do have an Earthshaker coming through the fissure. Will they be able to catch out Sqreen? Potentially. He is caught between two heroes, stunned up by the Enchant Totem, and now the Ravage command. They really want him dead. They'll get Sqreen, but hashtag worth, I suppose. As support for support, they blew that Ravage, the first usage of Ravage onto him. I don't know if that's worth it for xGame. That's not a Mirana that you really need to focus on killing. Blink Dagger is coming out from the sniper, and I quite like this choice coming out from him. As aforementioned, it's going to allow him to split push a little bit better with the instant positioning tool to keep himself safe. And now the tier 1 tower is going to fall. Yeah, big win for Sqreen Squad. Mirana dying just ensured that tower would die without any Tidehunter support. So a little bit trigger happy coming out from Stallcat, I feel. He will be building the mech for his team, presumably with that Ring of Health. Although it might just be the Blink Dagger. He's saving up quite a lot of gold. Mid, we might have a go with Brewmaster Ultimate available. Does he have enough mana for both of them? No, just going to casually walk up the lane and then TP down to bottom because there is an engagement going down there as well. The Courier is inbound and now he's jumping forward. He's going to throw out a Drunken Haze. He doesn't have mana for both his Ultimate and the Clap. Actually, he does. Never mind, because he has those Arcane Boots. TP attempt coming out from Mantis. Won't be able to cancel that one. They're looking for these supports. Earthshaker as well as Skyreth Mage juking through the trees. The arrow is going to be wide to the right, but the blink forward, it's not going to miss as he's going to just drop his Ultimate. They're going to get the Earthshaker almost instantly, but will they find Reeves? Reeves is... they don't have a way to get vision, and he'll walk out. This is so scary if you're the Skyreth Mage. Good timing, drops a ward, and he'll be able to back off. There's creeps there, and I think they might have cut out vision as they're going down in mid. They get the Cyclone up onto the Invoker and drop him down. No, there's no Purge coming out from the Brewmaster, but the headshots are coming through with the Liquid Fire. He's looking for a Sunstrike on his XC. It is going to land, but the Blink Thunderclap comes out on the Invoker. Nice Fissure comes out to block off two, but they don't have the backup. There's the Skyreth Mage. He has the Ultimate, but not able to throw it out. We have the Shrapnel spam coming out from ZXC now. It's only level 1, so doing very little of the tower, and these supports need to be careful. So Blink forward by ZXC. They're going to blow up the Skyreth Mage with a headshot as well as a crit. Coming out from the Brewmaster. Now the last tier 1 tower of the game is going to fall. This sniper is having the game of his life. He's now going to be working towards his Yasha, and I don't know if xGame can really do much. They need their Blink Daggers. They need their ways to initiate. They have Tidehunter with this Blink, but with no Ravage for 30 seconds, I think that's a tier 2 tower down. Faceless Void, he's so darn poor. He has Power Treads, and that's it. Their Invoker has a Midas, and their impact on this game is going to be negligible. As Wadafaka, he really wants his Necronomicon on top of that, or some way to do damage in these team fights. He has the Forge Spirits, which is going to be nice for split pushing, but as I said, the tier 2 tower just doesn't stand a chance. No way to defend against this. No deny attempt, and that's even more gold going the way of Sqreen Squad. Sniper's not seen because of his poor laning phase and because he wants those early items, but he's getting him as they get into the high ground. The Nice Fissure is going to delay things. The Ravage committed to. The Sunstrike is going to come through. Invoker going to eat and assassinate as the Ice Path comes through and actually clips Wadafaka. Wadafaka is dead. The arrow comes through as well, and Jakiro is going to survive, or will he? No. Blink. Anchor Smash. He's going to have enough damage with the... Gosh, and now Mantis looking for Afterlife as he gets a beautiful Chronosphere onto 3. The Brewmaster, he's getting a couple of misses now that the Chronosphere has delayed, and now the Faceless Void. He's walking into the side, but they'll get the vision with him. Stallcat's going to be able to churn for the Anchor Smash onto 2. The Skyreth Mage ulti comes out into Slander. Slander not falling just yet, and headshot procs are going to be enough on the Skyreth Mage. Just ZXC Sniper's just doing too much damage on the sidelines. They'll get the Assassinate from point blank range to blow up the Tidehunter, and 244 is the trade after getting that tower. You can't ignore a sniper in these team fights. Yeah, he's not doing the most damage at only 112 a pop, but with those headshots, he's just being a general nuisance. Now with the Yasha, I'd almost like to see just a straight-up Desolator coming out from him. He already has a positioning tool, and BKB is not going to save you, especially when you're going up against a Faceless Void with Chronosphere. Although he might back off for it, I'd like to just see him hit as hard as he can, especially the way these team fights have been going. His positioning's just been on the point, on the high ground, without really getting caught out. There's nothing that xGame can do. 15 to 10's our kill score, and although that looks pretty close, the towers are anything but, as the only tier 1 tower that xGame have been able to take is the tier 1 tower in bottom, and every tier 1 tower, plus the tier 2 mid, has been taken by Sqreen Squad, and he's going to go for a straight up SNY. I don't know, it's okay. SNY at this point in the game is a really solid item for tanking up as well as chasing down heroes. But honestly, I would have liked the Ogre Club going into a BKB a little bit better, and if you want the damage, just go straight up deeps. Either Crystallis or Daedalus. No, Desolator, not Daedalus yet. I don't know, if you can get that farm, by all means, 16-minute Daedalus would be sick. But yeah, tier 2 tower down in bottom, also going to be under some heavy pressure. This time they do have some tools in order to defend against this. With the Earthshaker already in position, but Kayla, he doesn't have his Ravage up for 30 seconds, and this one's gonna die as well. Liquid Fire from Jakiro is just too strong. They blink forward by the Tidehunter in order to get an Anchor Smash, but the creeps are back up. That tower is dead, one way or another. Sniper gets the last hit, and now blink forward by Afterlife. He has a split. He's gonna throw the clap, and not going to use the split. He's going to cancel that one. The crits are going to be enough to get caught, and they're not going to do much more, as that's going to be a tower as well as a kill going the way of Sqreen Squad, and slowly but surely they're just going to keep on pushing down these towers. ZXC is this kind of a puppy sniper build, but Sniper's a puppy hero. It works out for him, and he's just doing very well. He'll TP up on top and secure himself some more farm, but Sqreen Squad are looking amazing. Roshan also going to be attempted. Without the sniper, the damage is going to be pretty lackluster, but the mischance on Afterlife as well as the Liquid Fire from Jakiro, they'll be able to do it, although this is going to be one of the slowest Roshans you're going to see, and eventually they're just going to back off. No real way that they can do that without a double damage rune on one of those heroes. Invoker might not be so lucky, but the plan for xGame now is get this Faceless Void some more farm. He just has nothing. Power Treads the Mask of Madness at 17 minutes in just doesn't cut the cake, and especially when you have a sniper outside of the Chronosphere, right-clicking with the Mask of Madness on, you need a little bit more. They have a Sunstrike attempt in mid, but it lands on nothing. Fissure thrown out as well as Ice Path, but yeah, nobody dies. Jump in, they get the Ravage onto 3. The follow-up Mystic Flare onto Afterlife. Will he be able to get his ultimate off? Defensive Disruption will delay things, but he's still silenced up. The Chronosphere comes out. Echo Slam onto the Brewmaster. He's not going to have that available. They try to focus down Nubik. Nubik's still standing strong, however. He drops the Ice Path onto 3 with the Macrofire follow-up. It's doing so much damage now. ZXC is going to be able to right-click down these heroes. Stallcat is going to be chased down, and it's currently 1-for-1, but Brewmaster buying back. He still has his split, and he could go for Wadafaka. He's going to be headshot up. He's forced to use his Invis. Arrow go fly. It's not going to land on anything on the low ground, and Wadafaka is still there. No detection on any of these heroes has been deployed. In fact, they don't have any, which is unfortunate, especially when playing up against an Invoker. I think you just have one set of sentries at the very least. But yeah, let's see if they're going to be able to get anything off of this. It looks like they're going to try for Roshan. If they get to Roshan, the buyback in the Brewmaster is definitely going to be worth it. And with the ultimate spent by the Faceless Void as well as by the Tidehunter, I don't think they have the tools to contest it. So a really smart move coming out from Sqreen Squad. They can't do anything, so into the pit they go. Keeping on slowing down his attack speed, and then just plinking away with the Sniper. Sniper's next item is going to be a Maelstrom. Going to give him some wave clear as well as that more damage, and at this point, Sniper's huge. He has an Aegis, and even if they do go on him, he's going to come back with a vengeance. Although if they kill him once, apart from his team, he's going to die again, but they'll have to commit a lot to kill him that first time. Probably their Blink and Ravage as well, or if not, their Time Walk in Chrono. And once they drop one of those ultimates and kill him once, I don't think they're killing him again if he has backup. Nice Fissure, catches out 2, but it's only going to delay the inevitable. As the Liquid Fire spam comes out to this tower, slowly but surely it's going to tick down. With the Shrapnel onto the tower as well as the Liquid Fire, it's just going to tick down. It's not as fast or as furious as a Pugna push, but it falls at almost a similar rate. It's very annoying to deal with. We have an Arrow fishing, not going to land on anything. The Fisher's going to come up from the Earthshaker, but the Blink in immediately jumped in by Afterlife. They're trying to focus down with the silence. The defensive disruption will delay things, and I think he's going to be just fine as melee barracks. It's falling, and they're not doing anything about it. They can't. The mechanism is up for the Tidehunter, but they don't have their ultimates except for the Chronosphere, which is going to come out only onto 2, however. Afterlife, they're trying to focus him down. He's getting split off animation immediately, but the Deafening Blast Sunstrike is going to be enough. But Mantis is being focused down by the Sniper. He's going to get killed unless he backtracks that ultimate, but the Purge coming in from the Shadow Demon is going to be enough, and now melee barracks are going to fall, and Wadafaka is zoned out. They lost their Brewmaster and trade for the Faceless Void, but they're the ones that got the barracks. Blink forward from Stallcat. He doesn't have his Ravage for another 7 seconds, and I think it's going to be enough time for Sqreen Squad to back off, but Stallcat might just die. He jumps in, the Assassinate comes through, not even going to be able to get it off, as that's a double kill for Slider. Zul Breath comes out in the Earthshaker, and now the ultimate on the Invoker, and that's 4-man down, as well as the ranged barracks. I think the Sqreen Squad just did it. I liked xGame's draft better, but it turns out when you have a 509 Sniper in your team, things just work, as he's doubling up the net worth of anybody on the side of xGame, and he's just a force to be reckoned with. With the Blink Dagger, they're not going to be able to catch him out. They've used their ultimates, they have a Ravage in 15 seconds, but the next lane of barracks is probably going to die. They might have a TP in Ravage, but that's about it. Is now the range barracks, they're being focused down. They need this Tidehunter in there now, but I think they've all but given up, as xGame All that they have left to do is call GG. They're not going to do so just yet, as in a late game scenario, potentially they'd have a decent advantage, but now they jump in with the Tidehunter trying to kill ZXT, but he has a Ravage. Now with the Blink split, I think they're just going to turn on this Tidehunter headshot, first hit onto Stallcat, and now the follow-up Boulder Toss isn't going to come out. He's going to pull that off, and now the Ravage onto ZXT. Still has the Aegis, however, as the other side of the fight. Faceless Void is going to die, and Stallcat can't get anything done. Even with the minus damage, he's still hitting pretty hard, and GG called out by Kayla, as Wadafaka is going to Ghost Walk and Force Staff himself away. Earthshaker might die before the Ancient actually falls, but oh, a headshot mid inside the Enchant Totem, going to clean him up. But that said, it is only game 1 that's finished here on HeflaTV 1. We're going to have more action from the Joint Dota League coming up shortly. So thanks for watching. This has been game 1 of Sqreen Squad versus xGame KZ. So we're going to have that next game shortly. If you like the casting here, follow us on HeflaTV on Twitter and Facebook, and I've been Grandis V. Don't go anywhere, as the next lobby will be up soon. GG both teams.